You may have heard us as we've been talking about a plan, but you still want to know, what are the Community Dare to Care stand-up centers? In a few simple words, complete community outreach, offering free life-critical donations. Donations from the community, donations for the community, and donations for the health of the community. What is a life-critical need? Life-critical needs are those items needed to live happy, healthy lives. Things like clothing, housewares, work clothing, school supplies, bedding, winter and summer clothing. But life is not just material needs. So we are also planning on offering computer labs, telehealth, resume assistance, food preparation, air mattress and tent repair stations, self-care stations, employment resources, medical checkups, styling services, with so much more to come. There will be spots for the Community Pay It Forward partners and sponsors, and a chance to get to know our wonderful mission partners that can help you find additional resources. But as always, a plan is only a concept until action is taken. For this to happen, we're going to have to ask for you and your support. We're asking for donations using Zelle or PayPal. Or of course, you can support us through the Community Pay It Forward program. Simply scan this, which will take you here. Find one of our partners that can fulfill your honey-do list needs. Contact them, shop with them, and take a picture of the receipt. And upload it to this form. The simple steps in a program we call Shop, Click, and Pick. The only program where your daily shopping can support missions you love with no extra money coming out of your pocket. Allow us to help you find the partner you need by scanning here. Questions? Please call us today, 970-909-0751. Or you can send us an email, networking@communitypayitforward.us. Because when you are helping no one, you are hurting everyone. No one must go it alone when we all come together.
Into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
And that's all the show we have for today. Sorry, the NHL draft is on. I gotta go. No, that's probably not gonna work. Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Zach. Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. Got a really cool show tonight because I've got a really close dear friend joining me, Mr. Jeremy York from Things Network. He has a program that is going to be interesting to a lot of people out there because who don't know anything about the paranormal. It's a neat concept because it gets people to go out there. Look, all of us at some point in time have seen shows like, Ghost Hunters or something like that. And you're like, oh, wow, what's this? This would be kind of cool. I know we have stickers on our car, and all the time, and people will come up to us and stop me and want to talk about it. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You need to talk to my wife. She knows. When it comes to the paranormal thing, I'm still a rookie. I know very, very little, probably less than that. So, I did want to really quickly mention stuff about what you just saw. The donation dens are now going into the stand-up centers. Okay, the stand-up centers are a program that I've been looking to do this for a while. We run a program that we've been looking to do this program for a while, because we already run a program, the donation dens, that people donate clothes to us and we donate them to other people who need them. We don't sell them, we give them away. So this is just a chance for us to widen that scope, help people out in a much, much grander way, including things like offering, as I said in that video, computer labs and stuff. Okay, it's one of those ways that, you know what, we don't have to we don't have to go out of our way to really help people when we have stuff in our closets that we don't wear. Okay, one example is a couple years ago when I was moving out of one place, I found a shirt that was an extra large shirt. There's nobody on this earth right now that wants to see me try to fit into an extra large shirt. Okay. As one comedian said, I'll look like a half open can of biscuits, those poppy biscuits. It's not a pleasant sight. So, so that's something that, you can take it to a place and to a thrift store and you can give it to somebody, but they turn around and they sell them most of the time. Where some of those places are well warranted. Okay. Homes for Humanity is one of them that I really, really do support, because they do take and turn it around and build stuff with them. Use them to build things. You have other ones, I'm not naming any of them, but you have other ones that honestly, all they are is a money grab, and that's just not right. Okay. When you're donating clothes, one of the things that makes us special is you want to make sure that it's getting onto the backs of people who need it. Look, if you enjoy thrifting and that's what you want to do, by all means, go for it. But what I like to tell people is, you know what? If you have old clothes that are in the back of your car, you see somebody who's struggling with, hey, Nick, how's it going, brother? You see somebody who's struggling out there, somebody who needs a little bit of help, go on ahead and throw some clothes that you no longer want or no longer fit you. Throw it their way, because no matter what you are, Republican, Democrat, Christian, Muslim, black, white, cold weather and extreme heat will kill you if you're not properly clothed. It can kill you. Hunger. Okay. Say your wife makes extra food. Throw it in the old hillbilly Tupperware. Go and hand it out to somebody. Throw it in an old butter bowl. Go and give it to somebody out there struggling with food, because, hunger's not fun. Okay. Hunger sucks, and hunger will hurt people. So, once again, the donation or the stand-up centers are just a pet project that I really want to get off the ground. It's something that's going to be from the community, for the community, to the community. Wow, Carl, that's really great. That's really great. I love seeing that, because it's so important. And if you can just type it in, wasn't it one of the most satisfying things in your life? Granted, probably stressful at times as well. I know there are some times that we have people who come over and it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't have Nike shoes. We've we've got what we got, but Carl, congratulations on that. That's really cool. But this is just a way for us to give back to the community because not everything is money. Okay, there are certain times that throwing money at a situation is the last thing in the world that you want to do, and we want to make sure that we help people in any way we can. Okay, say dad goes out and gets his 5th DUI. Mom and the kids shouldn't have to suffer because dad's a fool. All right. So we want to make sure that we have clothing available for him. Hell, we want to make sure that we have clothing for dad. He's going to have to go to court if he doesn't go in and have a good appearance. That's going to hurt the families even more. So there's always a reason why we need to help people. One of the other things that we truly believe in, it doesn't matter what your situation is. If you need clothing, we will offer you free clothing, housewares, whatever's been donated to us. That's what it is. Okay? Your situation is your situation. I'm not going to ask you about it. If you need something, I ask you to come to us. So we ask you to join us no matter where you're at. If you have some old clothing, stick it in your trunk. It's not gonna take up a whole lot of room. But, it could make a whole hell of a lot of difference to somebody else. So, you know what? Once again, if you would like to find out more and if you would like to support us, little guy up here, my QR code, you can really help us out by throwing us a donation. We've got a 3-step program coming up, and our first goal is to raise $600 by the 12th. And on the 12th, if we obtain our goal, we will be able to get in front of thousands of people investors. I couldn't think of the word. I don't know. It's something to do with money, so I don't know what it's called. Money people thingies, whatever those are. I've heard of that money stuff before, just don't know a lot about it. So. We are going to begin our show now since I'm done babbling, but I'm going to bring on a really, really great friend of mine. He was here just a couple weeks ago, and if you watch our show, Footprints Forward, you got to see him be involved with that the first time, and we need to get him on there more because he brought a lot to that show. But here's a really dear friend of mine, Jeremy York. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good. It's great to have you here. It's nice to see that you made it home safe and sound, and Vegas didn't take all your money.
Well, Reno is where I went. I'll be going back to Vegas next year.
Oh, okay.
And I'm one of the smart ones. I don't gamble my money.
Yeah. All you do is the bowling part. Well, you do eat though. I didn't you show some pictures of the buffet and stuff there too?
I did. I was showing the comparison of what little food I got and how much money I had to spend to get it.
Yeah. Well, see, there's where the gambling comes in though. Because if you gamble, then you don't have to pay for it a lot of times. So I know here in Blackhawk, when I went in a previous life, when I went there, when we went up to Blackhawk, and we went to a restaurant and got not fancy food, but boy, I'll tell you, I sure felt like we paid a fancy price. I took my son and his girlfriend at that time, and man, I think we ended up spending like $80, and it was like, oh my God. Yeah. So, and then because my son was underage, we had to walk an extra way because he couldn't walk through the casinos and all this stuff. It was quite interesting. So, Jeremy,
that gets to be a bit of a headache.
Yeah. Well, all those flashing lights and everything, those are pretty tough on you anyway.
They
Um,
can be, especially if you're prone to seizures.
yeah. So, Jeremy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the giving tree, and tell us what you've got going, what you're trying to do.
The Paranormal Giving Tree was actually started as the Paranormal Relief Project by Tori Westhoff, and what what her plan was to do something to give back to the first responders who had no choice but to um, who went through a lot of shit basically during the very beginning stages of COVID, um, especially during a time when nobody had a clue what was going on, what this was. Um, I think in some aspect we still don't know what it
Yeah.
really is. You know, there's a lot of theories out there, but no one person who really truly knows. So what she wanted to do was to have multiple haunted locations, donate their buildings for a night, and let first responders, you know, nurses, doctors, policemen, firefighters, anybody within those types of field come in and basically have a free night and come out, see what it's about, see what you can experience, and see if this is something that you would like to do later on. So
You
that first
know, oh, go on ahead.
I was going to say that first year, oh man, we had over 30 locations signed up, um, but there were quite a few hiccups, um, some issues that we had on that night, and I don't know how many ended up actually being able to do the event that night. Um, but it seemed to go over really well. So for the second year, she decided that she didn't want to do it again. So she handed it off to me because the work just got to be too much for her. All right, that's fine. So I took it back to the team and we renamed it Paranormal Giving Tree because we got the idea that we don't want it to be just about that. We want to be able to do more. Um, get more involved with charities and all of that. And we had several meetings, myself, Tim, Scott, a couple others. And then I ended up having my accident and everything came to a dead stop. So for the second year, we had, I think, seven locations participate in it. Um, and from what I was told, each location did fairly well. And this year we only have four, but I have not been able to really put forth much energy towards it because I've been working on so many different other things. This has actually been a much busier year than last year was for me, to my surprise.
Yeah,
Um,
but you've been recovering a lot more, and you've been trying to get out there a hell of a lot more than you were before. I know that you were pretty well during your recovery. There wasn't a lot that you could go out and do. Plus, you have all those stupid tests and all those procedures and everything that you got going on. So it's kind of difficult getting out there. Um, was it like riding a bike when you got back out there and got back into this, or are you still running into some problems?
it it depends on the situation. On some things, it's like nothing ever stopped. Um, Other times, it takes a little bit to get back into it. Like doing paranormal investigations, I've only done one this year, and I've been out twice. But one of those times I got ran out by mosquitoes, and that wasn't a fun night.
Hey, I kind of remember that one. Matter of fact, I think I've still got a couple of mosquitoes in the car.
Oh man, that was terrible. Um, but after I got home, I did do an actual investigation, and I was kind of worried about it. You know, it was my first one in 6 months, and do I really want to do this or not? And as we got into it, hey, I actually still like doing this. I'm going to be doing one in a week and a half, actually, and that's going to be my last one for a little over a month, and then I'll be doing back-to-back investigations, one with you guys, and then the next one at Waverly, and then after that, I'm not planning on doing anything for the rest of the year unless somebody asks me to do something.
Yeah, you mentioned it, and I guess I'll bring it up for Adrian. She knows more about the details. I really don't know much about it. This is kind of her thing, but we're going to be going to an abbey somewhere near Colorado Springs, August, correct?
August 12th.
Yeah, I know it's right around my. I know it's right around my anniversary. So.
Mm-hmm.
The anniversary of my accident. So, yeah. So, and there are still tickets available for anybody who wants to go. You just get a hold of Adrian Clayton, Things of Colorado. You can get some information and get your ticket and come with us. So, yeah. I'm excited about this, getting Nick to come up and join us. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So, get to hang out with him. I've only been able to hang out with him once. You and I, we've hit a couple places together and had a lot of fun. So now get Nick in this and go have some fun with him. So I love his show, which is on right before mine. It's so educational and so much fun. So it's going to be nice having the whole gang here.
While I'm thinking about it, Nick, I need to get with you here in the next day or two. There's a slideshow for your show that you're probably going to want to do within the month. So,
right on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that. We connecting with people, connecting.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, Jeremy, let's talk about some of these places. We've got the Wildwood Sanitarium, and this is really the only one that you know about. This a lot about. Where is this one at? Oh, it looks like
Salamanca, New York.
Yeah.
It is right off of Interstate 86, I think. Let me double check on that. Maps. Come on. Oh, here we go. Yes, it is right off of Interstate 86. It's like a couple towns over from Jamestown, New York, and Jamestown is where I think it's Lucy Ball who's buried there. But Salamanca is small town, maybe 10,000 people. It's a tiny little town, but when I go there, it seems to take me all the way back to the 80s when I was just a little young wee one, and it's got that small town feel. It doesn't even have a Walmart, as far as I know.
Wow.
It is so cool. Wildwood Sanitarium. When it opened up, it was like a holistic. I'm gonna. Yeah, there you go. It was like a holistic facility when it first opened up. But when you look at it from the outside, it just looks like a big house.
Yeah, actually, here's a. Oh, I guess I would have to go back to the other page, but yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot to it. I mean, there's kind of a little bit of a picture, but it's not a great picture. But let's see if we can scroll down. Yep, I'm already out. I got the damn dolls there. You guys and your dolls. I'm
Tub,
telling you.
that tub right there, that tub is actually in the basement. Now those rooms there are on the second floor. Yeah, there we go. That tub is there in the basement. I actually laid in there for a little while, um, just to see if anything would happen. Nothing did. Um, but the way that it is, well, I didn't sleep in it, but it looked like I did.
Yeah,
Nick,
you got a nice little picture with it.
yeah. Nick took that picture, um, but when I was laying in there, I had my face pointed away from him, but I tried to make it look like that I was knocked unconscious and I had my tongue hanging out. He didn't get my tongue. Um, but
Wow.
the way that this place is set up is that it could be like a duplex apartment because you got two kitchens, the first floor and then one on the second floor. The way that is set up, you can easily have somebody living on the first floor, easily have somebody living on the second floor. But there's only one bathroom, and that's on the first floor. Um, and they got multiple staircases throughout this building. Um, the main staircase only goes from the first to the second floor, and then there's another staircase that goes from the second door on the first floor that leads up to the second and will go on to the third. And then there's another staircase that goes from the kitchen on the first floor down to the basement. And then a second staircase going from the basement that will go up to the second floor. It's just really weird the way that this whole thing is set up.
Did they use this building for anything else, or is it just
Well, I'm looking at the history on it now. There's a doctor's office up on the third floor, and it's still very well set up as that. Okay, it became a sanitarium in 1906. At one point, it was also used for a holistic. Let's see. Okay, it was used as a tuberculosis clinic for the town. Then after that, it became an osteopathic hospital clinic. And then it became a holistic natural healing center after that. And I think that's where that tub came in because it does talk about um, electric battery baths, which do not sound good to me.
no,
Uh,
not at all.
I don't even want to know what that involves.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound comfortable at all. Jeremy,
No.
tell me something. What is it about tuberculosis and haunts? Why is tuberculosis? I mean, I know that it was such a horrifying, gruesome way to go. But I
Yeah,
mean, there are so many places. You mentioned the oh, help me here.
Waverly.
Waverly. Yeah, that was that was where people went with tuberculosis. That was a recovery place itself. And isn't Waverly they won that case, and so Waverly is now open again for okay.
Waverly is back in the hands of Tina and Charlie. Um, they have finally gotten rid of the last of the bad people, I guess you could call it. um, So now Waverly is 100% good. It's
Oh, well, that's great. I mean, it's awesome. So, the second one that you've got is this old Lavaca County Jail.
yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. Uh,
So, and looking this up,
yeah,
uh,
I don't know the history of any of these other locations. I've never been to any of these other locations.
right. I mean, this place just screams haunted. I mean, this place looks damn creepy. I mean, let's be honest here. This is
From
that's
the
a little
outside, it doesn't even look like a jail.
yeah. So, located just over 100 miles east of San Antonio, it's the one of the oldest jails in Texas, and in a real small town. I'll guarantee you, their football field was probably pretty big. So that's just kind of the way it is with them. There have been hangings, suicides, murders, and many other bad things that have happened here. The negative energy is felt throughout the jail with the feeling of being watched ever present. You know, that's one of the things that I hear you guys talking about all the time. You guys feeling like you've been watched and stuff. And that's just one of that kind of freaks me out. I don't know if I like the idea of being watched at all. So, but
Yeah, I'm not too good with that either. They're also one of the ones that participated in this event last year too. And then Carl, he just mentioned that he did he did the event with us last year as well for Cox Cemetery in Missouri, Caldwell County.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I got a dog with a cone on her head, and she's being all neurotic. So I have to get out of her way, or I get a plastic cut, basically.
I seen a picture of her, and this was a week after she had that surgery.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she ended up cutting herself open again, so not a good thing at all. Not a good thing at all. Yeah, I had to take her back in and get some more stuff done um, to her, and they had to reclose the wound, and yeah, it was just not a lot of fun at all. Now
So
I'm trying to find anything else. So, how many years has this old Lavaca been with you guys?
okay, this one here, we've got 20 tickets available so far. One has only been reserved. Um, and honestly, I don't really know a whole lot of people in Texas.
Yeah, I know that. I know Adrian knows quite a few people in Texas. So, but let's see here, trying to find out more. Oh, this next one we've got is the old Attila.
Old Attala County Jail, that's in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. This one here is actually the one that good friends of ours run, Donald and Rebecca Martin. They are Southern Paranormal, and Donald, when we're able to, is co-host with me on the Marks on Wrestling show.
Okay.
We haven't done a show in a while, but his computer took a crap on him, and he just hadn't had a chance to get a new computer yet. He's not really sure when he's going to be able to do it.
Maybe it's because he's going to places that look like this that his computer died on him. Just saying. So you look at the outside of this building. That really does not look large at all. I mean, that really has a very tiny
It
visual.
almost looks like a small school.
Yeah, or like you know, well, and
Or
a
maybe
funeral home.
home.
Funeral home is exactly what I was thinking of. There's the chapel. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty damn spooky. I'll give him that.
Now, there was a second location that Donald and Rebecca had that was going to be a part of this, but the owner of it sold it to somebody, so they no longer have access to it. But if they did, that place is also going to be with the Given Tree, and it is a funeral home.
So it looks like what to expect here. You are a ghost hunter for a night with an expert team assistance. You will delve into unknown and investigate this fantastic location. Here we go. The jail was located in Mississippi. It was erected in 1957. So it actually doesn't have that huge history behind it. This isn't like a Civil War home or anything like that. This is,
But yet it says it's one of the oldest jail facilities in the state of Mississippi.
Wow.
Which that is surprising, unless a lot of the older ones were destroyed at some point.
Yeah.
Or if maybe it was, or maybe that's a typo, and it actually meant that it was erected in 1857.
Wow. One of the most harrowing stories is that a mobile electric chair was brought in to carry out executions. Many locals explained that 11:45 you would wear, it's probably supposed to be here, the generator fire up, and at a higher speed, and by 12:01 it would return to the normal speed. Okay, that would be really freaky. I mean, just think about that. You're sitting there. I guess that would have to be a late dinner, but sitting there at night, and all of a sudden, well, there goes so and so. He's gone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this one's really cool for anybody who's in the Mississippi area. This would be a great chance for you to get out and have some fun. And again, this is
now look where it says there. The haunted encounters started shortly after 1957, when a former prisoner took their own life,
with many others following the same path.
Yeah. So suicides are somewhat common in jail, in prison.
It is the many prisoners who have died here whose energy still through the walls and halls. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty intense that the same year it was built, the haunting started. So
okay. This page has not been updated yet because it's still talking about the haunted Southern funeral home. That was the one that was just sold last year.
Okay.
And that was going to be a part of this until it got sold.
Well, that's kind of sad, That's one of the things that you and I have talked about quite a bit, how it's a sad thing when we lose history in that way, but oh, look at this. We've got here's I went to go look up our last location, and it's
that one looks like a small house in New York.
Yeah, let me get this here. Now I'm trying to find a place that well, I guess we're going to have to go to its Facebook page and look up its Facebook page here. So trying to give everybody a little bit of a look at it. So, but it looks like an old, even though it's in New York, it looks like it's an old plantation style. I don't know why the fire is spooky,
Yeah.
but oh, it looks like here, if you go, you can see a couple figures in the windows.
See, kind of, sort of. See that. That's why I have an issue with zoomed in pictures because they're so pixelated.
Yeah. Well, they had this other picture. It's the same thing without it. Yeah, it does kind of, you can't tell if it's just a warping of the screen or what it is. Just filth, it could be, but even from there, it's really hard to tell. But I mean, this looks like a beautiful home.
Yeah, that was actually one of those that was brought in by somebody else on the committee. She knows the people that runs these things. She asked, and they said they were interested, so she brought them in.
Well, now I'm interested.
Well, after seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, there's food there. So, and I'm gonna take it. Looks like that's one of the teams that have worked there. So, but yeah, so these are all the places, and as you can see, there's many places that you can go to, everywhere from Texas to two places in the New York area to Mississippi. So this is a great chance for you to get out there and get first responders a chance to go out and do this. You also saw some of the prices on there, Jeremy. This night, if they get the tickets through you, it doesn't cost them anything.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this is a chance to go into some of these places where if you want to go on your own, you're going to be spending, it looks like a pretty penny. I mean, I saw places that were anywhere from $200 or $120 to $200. So there's quite a bit of stuff there.
But that's for up to X amount of people.
Right. And we've got, it looks like we've got about 7 more tickets for Wildwood available. There's still 8 tickets for
Sweet Home
Estates. We've got 19 tickets left for the Texas, the old Lavaca jail. And the Atala, we got 16 left. So there are still plenty of tickets here for you to go if you want to get in. Check out the paranormal world. And I'm going to tell you, as somebody who has married into the paranormal world, it's kind of a neat place to, it is. It's kind of neat.
That's
you gotta, there's certain times you got to sit there and tell people just settle down, but if you get in there with people who actually respect what they're doing, it's a lot of fun, and the one thing that I always tell people is, hey, respect, respect the history, respect the people,
and respect the residents.
Right. Yeah, regardless on if you find something or not, there's still the memory of people there, and you should really respect them. We went, Jeremy, to a couple cemeteries when you were here last year, and we really had a lot of fun looking at the history of it. Of course,
all kinds of symbols that we didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
So trying to figure that out was a lot of fun too.
And I think the one that I'm always going to remember, and it's just, it still sticks in my head, is the one when we were in Loveland, and on the back of the tombstone it said, "Who can it be?" And then you turn it around and it was a joke. It's like, who am I? Who's it was kind of, they were having fun with their, and it was a huge tombstone. And it was just huge. And it was neat because it was fun. And you can tell that person didn't want, their lost life to be sorrow. So, and then
Remember,
the
in that same cemetery, there was a headstone that it was just weird because it looked like it was backwards, but it wasn't.
yeah,
Uh,
we found a couple crypts are that were there. We found quite a few crypts down in Denver when we went there. We went to Cheeseman Park, and
that
and
was house.
that was infuriating, is what it was. But it's a wonderful story, and if you get a chance to go back and find the work that Nick did on Cheeseman Park, I really suggest that one because he did a lot of really good work on that, and that story is just so fascinating. I mean, that story is beyond. It just really proves that this money hungry, loose with morals stuff isn't brand new. It's been around for a while, and but it really was. It was a good time that we had there. Then we went, and when we were at the funeral, or when we were at the cemetery, the the whole thing was really funny because I found a beautiful headstone, and it was the first mayor of Denver. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and we were looking for a certain grave. Had no idea where to go, no idea whatsoever. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading this headstone of the first mayor of Denver. And all of a sudden, my wife jumps out of the car like somebody lit her butt on fire. And all of a sudden, she just like, there it is, there it is, there it is. And we're like, what is? I kind of forgot what we were even doing. And she was right. She found the tombstone of the sister of the gentleman who invented the Ouija board. And
She was the one who named it.
she was the one who named it.
Mhm.
And so she was, the rumor mill. How much? Let me ask you this, and this is a question that just drives me crazy personally. But rumor mills, for what you guys do, okay, in the paranormal world, how much do you guys hate rumor mills? Because we heard this story about the house that we went to go and investigate, and then I looked up the truth of that house, and nothing that we heard, that the rumor we heard, none of it was true. There was no murder there. The guy didn't kill his family.
Yeah, the rumors out there are, in some cases, actually more interesting than the true stories of some of these places. But a lot of times, and I think that some locations, some of their workers, they will start these rumors to bring up the hype of their locations and get the people to come in.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, the people who come in and investigate, they're asking these questions about events that never even happened, and that's probably confusing those that are still there. Like, why in the hell are you asking this? This stuff never happened.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you've heard, Jeremy, that just it drives you crazy because you actually know the true story? I know the one that drives a lot of people crazy about the sanitarium is the one about the nurse, and the surrounding of her death. And I know it's one that if you watch the TV shows, the big guys, they all want to play that up. And when they play that up, they do a disservice to the true story because it's not true.
Right. And another one is at a jail that I've been to a couple times, and this is a jail where the guy actually lives at. But when we go there, anybody go there, he leaves, stays somewhere else because he's got multiple locations that he stays at. One of his claims is there's a little troll that that he seen run through one of the rooms, and said he actually caught it on camera, but never produced a video. Another one was an old man that just, it's like one of them things that you see in a scary show where he's laying in his bed and then all of a sudden this man just starts raising up at the foot of the bed, gives him a smile, and then just kind of goes right back down. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
quite a few locations where the stories are just so outrageous. It's it's ridiculous.
It's actually kind of one of those things, Jeremy, that I've watched, watched a lot of these programs, and some of the quote unquote evidence that they have is obviously so, it's bizarre to where it's unbelievably bizarre. Okay. I mean, some of the like rubber mask looking bizarre. Um, there's
Yeah.
there's definitely one TV show that Adrian and I were watching quite a bit at one point in time, but then after a while, you just got to sit there and look at it and go, "No, I can't do this no more." Okay, I'm sorry. The people
I was
acting.
watching one of those shows with you guys when I was there.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you see a character that sits there in the back and just kind of does this thing and looks at you, and you're like, okay, so your friend just came around the corner and stared at you. I mean, and it is. Are those the kind of things that really upset you guys in the field? That it's like, look, you're making a mockery of what we do.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's actually gotten to the point where I stopped watching these shows.
Yeah.
I honestly cannot remember the last time I had seen a new show of anything. It's been 3 years, I think, at least.
Well, I know I'm watching. Of course, we're watching the one that I work with, which is the Rev and his league of
The
yeah,
Legion of Exorcists.
Legion of Exorcists. And I'm watching that because I've got a vested interest in it. I kind of work with the guy every week, so and
I would like to see that, but I don't do streaming apps, so I don't subscribe to anything.
yeah,
So I can't even see it.
it's interesting, but it's kind of one of those things that it's, again, as a person who's not quite there yet, okay, I'm not quite a true believer as of yet. It's one where you've got to really take, and you're like going, come on. But then there's some of it that you're like sitting there going, okay, I could see that possibly happening,
You just haven't had that one big experience yet.
Yeah, that's true. When it comes to it, I've had the one experience possibly in Salina when we were there, and it could have been one of those things. And until I have another experience, the truth is I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to think, look, was my mind overactive? The brain's a funny thing.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of investigators, because there's a lot of people out there that have anxiety issues, and a lot of them are paranormal investigators. And I have seen some who they work themselves up so much to where they bring on an anxiety attack, and they think it's actually the residents of whatever location they're in coming at them. But really, they just worked themselves up to that point and did it themselves.
What is the best experience that you've ever had?
The best I've ever had?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That we can talk about on air.
That we can talk about.
If there's a Tijuana show involved, we don't need to hear about it right now.
The one that really sticks out in my mind actually happened at Waverly. And this was when it was the last time that I did, well, actually the last time that I was there. Um, did a 2 night event, one for an old network and one for personal friends. Well, and Adrian was there on the first night, but the second night that we were there were three of us walking down the outside corridor of the second floor, and Corey Snitz, he's one of my close friends. He was just taking random pictures and looking at them, and right at the start, he saw something behind a pillar as you go from the first wing to the next wing as it starts turning, and there was something behind that pillar. So I went after it. I went there to see what is there. And as soon as I get there, about 3 or 4 rooms down, I saw what looked like a human running through the room. I thought, okay, somebody's here. So I run across the room directly next to me to try to head that person out because there's no other way to get around besides the outside hallway and the inside hallway. I was in the inside hallway, and Coy and Gage were at the outside. So there was no way anybody was going to be able to get around us. Um, but it was gone.
Wow. Well, Jeremy, you and I have been talking for quite a while now, and you and I are going to be starting something that is called These Walls Can Talk. And this is basically a campaign where we can help history, okay, preserve history. There's a lot of places out there, and we've already talked about some of them, that there's so much history there that can be learned. And this is, look, you can believe in haunting or not, but These Walls Can Talk is the way that we can utilize both, in the same realm, because if you do believe in spirits, you can believe that these walls can tell you something. If not, the walls still can tell you something because of the history behind it. If you know somebody or some location that is in jeopardy of losing its history, losing they're in jeopardy of losing this building, we really want you to get a hold of us, because These Walls Can Talk is something that's very important to myself, because I am a huge history buff.
The one that we were just at, the one that you and I were just at, would be a perfect candidate for that.
Yeah, Deerfield, and I wish there was some way that we could do something about it. It's it's a location that's here in northern Colorado that was built by formerly enslaved people, and I mean, it's an amazing story that after the Civil War, they created this township, and the last person left in 1967. Doesn't that sound about right? Like in 1967,
I'm looking it up right now.
And I mean, there's pretty much only like 3 or 4 buildings standing now, and one of them is barely standing. I mean, one of them is, but there was, and of course that's also. I mean, I don't know if there are any spirits there, but we do know that there are mosquitoes there.
Yeah, thousands of them.
A lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we repopulated Greeley by bringing some back to town with us. So,
Never.
Yeah, and
ever gone through something like that before. That I'd never seen that many mosquitoes in one place like that. It was terrible, and that also needs to have the grass cut too.
Yeah, having the grass. Yeah, it was kind of weird. You didn't know if you were going to be bit by a snake or eaten by a tiger. So but
you fall through a hole.
Right, it fall through a hole. But I mean, some of the stuff in there, seeing like the old cabinetry and the old white aluminum cabinets or steel cabinets and stuff like that was on the floor, the old bed frame, and finding out the history of it. It was just a really cool place. And even though we're not going to be able to be part of that, we would still like to be part of saving some of the history of some of these other places, because, and I say it in a speech that I've got released every week now. History needs to be saved, even the bad stuff, because if we don't learn from the bad stuff, we're doomed to repeat it. It's a true story.
And we have.
Yep. And not only have we might be right now. History right now is not, this isn't one of the funnest places to live. And, because of the history that's going on right now. So, but Jeremy, I wanted to thank you so much. One more time, just run down this list. We've got Salamanca, New York.
Well, I'm pronounce it both ways, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to let you pronounce them, but Wildwood Sanitarium, and that's in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The one in Texas is okay. Then we've got Old Atala County Jail.
Maybe.
Sure. In Mississippi. And Sweet Home Estates, 1822 in Hume, New York. So, and the date of all of these events is July 15th, and they start at 7 p.m. That's 7 p.m. Eastern?
It'll be 7 p.m. local time. So
7 p.m. their local time. So
yeah. 7 p.m. whichever.
Eastern, it's going to be Eastern and Central time then. So is what they're all going to be. But you can get out, you can find more information at facebook.com/paranormal giving tree. And you just got to go to the Eventbrite page. Once again, for Wildwood, there's still 7 tickets left. Sweet Home Estates, 8 tickets left. Lavaca County Jail, there's still 19 tickets left. And the Atala County Jail, there's still 16 tickets left. So please go onto your Eventbrite and check them out. Get your tickets now. Take somebody who's a first responder. Take someone who's a hero. Take them out. Have a little bit of fun and have a great time with them. So, but Jeremy, thank you very much, my brother. Thank you for coming on tonight to talk about this. Hopefully we can get some more tickets out there, and we can invite some people to do some wonderful, fun activities with you guys. So, but thank you again, and we will be right back with a recorded show of Mr. Tommy Bopp, a really good friend of mine. And we will talk to you in a minute. Hey guys, everybody, once again, thank you to Jeremy York. Thank you to everybody who joined us. I appreciate you guys coming on. Nick, it was great to get to kind of talk to you a little bit. I'll kind of talk to you a little bit again tomorrow night. 4th of July is coming up. We all know this. Our great friends at Nature Select Dog Food, which is one of our wonderful, wonderful partners here at Community Pay It Forward. They're one of our giving partners. Wants to remind you to be careful with your pets, okay? Fireworks are fun, but you need to remember that fireworks are not as fun for everyone, okay? Look, 4th of July has always been one of my favorite holidays because that was an opportunity. It was one of the only holidays that I had both of my sons. So it was a great holiday for me. But for pets, it can be really difficult. Just remember, they've got a couple tips here. We always love to have an extra 5-pound bag on hand for making travel with pups easier. You know that. So if you want to go to Northern Colorado's Nature Select Pet Food, you can not only get that 5-pound dog food, but you can also donate to someone who needs help. As we all celebrate the 4th of July, let's not forget most fur babies have anxiety. We want to share some quick tips and help you keep your fur baby safe, protected while fireworks continue to go off for the next few weeks, because remember, they don't end on the 4th of July. While we are all enjoying barbecues, many people are coming in and out of the house, people leaving the gate open to the yard and say hello to their family and friends. Our fur babies are having anxiety. New people, new sounds, new experiences. There is a sensory overload and the booms. They don't know what that noise is. They've never experienced something like that, the majority of them. Here are some tips. Be prepared. First, pet owners should make sure their dog is wearing an ID tag with the correct information. There are new air tags your fur babies can wear on their collar, which are lightweight. Also, they have helped with very close proximity to where their fur babies are lost. Secondly, owners should make sure their pet is microchipped. Both of my dogs are now, and double check to make sure that microchip is up to date. Make sure to check your pet's microchip is registered and contains the correct name, the current phone number, and the address. That way they can be easily found if lost. Leave your pets at home. Your pets are already stressed. You do not need to be taking them out to where there's a lot of noise and anxiety and everything else like that. PETA stresses for owners to never bring their animals along to watch fireworks displays. Instead, leave them at home indoors and never have them tethered or chained outside. Tire them out beforehand. If it's cool enough outside on the 4th of July weekend or 4th of July day, we recommend taking dogs for long walks or play at the dog park before the fireworks begin in an effort to help tire them out. Create a safe space. Creating safe space and escape-proof space in their home. But make sure they have plenty of room. Please make sure you don't just shove them in a bathroom or shove them in a small locked-up room that they can't move around. They're going to feel even more anxious if that happens. Lower the blinds, close the windows, and provide a bed or crate where they feel comfortable. Offer a special chew toy to distract them, and turn on the TV or radio to help mask the noises outside. Try a calming aid, and this is something that you can get from Nature Select, and it can be delivered to your home to help reduce pet stress and anxiety from the noise. There are a variety of medications and supplements that can help. They of course recommend Proper Cana Pet 600 milligram peanut butter CBD oil. And thank God I don't have to say that every day, but I'm going to try to say it again. Proper Cana Pet 600 milligram peanut butter CBD oil. That almost sounds pretty tasty, though. Wrap them up. Let's see. Foundation says that confining movement in dogs and cats actually has a calming effect on them. There are anxiety wraps or coats made for animals. Even a scarf can get the job done in a pinch. It's like a hug. And you can get these vests anywhere at any pet store. They're a little expensive. I like the idea of doing something like a scarf. It just helps them. Check the locks prior to any fireworks display. Make sure doors, gates, and windows are all closed to help muzzle the loud sounds. And of course, prevent an escape. Keep festivities out of reach. Never leave alcoholic drinks unattended where pets can reach them, as those same drinks have a potential poison to animals. According to ASPCA, the same goes for citronella candles, insect coils, and tiki torch oil products. Even though my dog Ghost loves chewing up the tiki torch itself, it was not full of oil, but boy, he just destroyed the tiki torch itself. As well as glow jewelry, which contains a luminescent substance that is highly toxic. If you come across any animal that has gotten out, please know animal control is going to be busy for the next few days. Please post to Nextdoor First and the local social media lost and found pages. Be sure to let cross streets and pictures, to list cross streets and pictures. That way we can get the word out there to these babies back home. They're needed by their parents. Look, the truth is the truth, okay? If you can manage these animals, please manage these animals. Help them get back to their families. I know I love my animals. I love my dogs. Drive me crazy, but I love my dogs, and would be devastated if one of them would get out. So do your best, but also take care. You got to remember these animals are anxious right now, okay? With anxiety comes a chance of aggression, nervousness. So just be careful. Don't do anything stupid. Try to be calm with them and do what you can do, but do not do it at risk of safety of your own family. Coming up this weekend, dear friends of the program, the Martyred Angels Foundation is going to be at Bandimere Speedway on Saturday. We're asking you to join them at their booth, visit their booth, and when you do that, you can find out more about what they've got going on. When you get there, all you got to do is walk up to John, say hi to John, tell him that we said hi, and just talk to him. Find out a little bit more about what he's got going on. Martyred Angels was founded because of the loss of a child. Make sure that you go to the Martyred Angels Foundation.org and read up on the reason why. It's a very important mission, very, very heartfelt mission. We love them greatly. Following that Saturday, John and his family will be at the Breeze Through Car Wash in Longmont, which is just north of us here. I'm hoping that maybe we can get out there, but I'm helping my son move this weekend. The car wash can be found at 1213 Ken Pratt Boulevard in Longmont. It's the main drive-through in Longmont, Main Street, whatever you want to call it. They're going to be there from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go through, drop off donations, make sure that you stop and ask the people what the procedure is, because every time you get your car washed, John and Martyred Angels gets a donation, and it will help them out immensely. Do the good that they do. Again, that address is 1213 Ken Pratt Boulevard, Breeze Through Car Wash from 10 until 2. It's a great thing because it's something similar to what we run here at Community Pay It Forward. You're going to want your car washed, right? I mean, having a dirty car is, well, kind of a pain in the ass. Well, it's not kind of, truly is. And it just, you feel better in a clean car. So let's just say that. Once again, Bandimere, that address is 3051 South Rooney Road in Morrison, Colorado. And rockets, I believe that these are like rocket fuel racers. Obviously, they look pretty damn fast. I kind of want a hot dog now, but they look pretty fast. So I don't think I could probably catch up to them to cook my hot dog, and I'm pretty sure that it would probably burn off my face at the same time, so I don't think that I'm going to do that. Next up, we've got another partner of mine. This was actually recorded just about a year ago with Tommy. Tommy's a great friend, great partner, been with us for a long time. And the greatest thing about Tommy's program is this. He's going to negotiate your bills, and this is for nonprofits, especially nonprofits and 501c3s. He loves working with nonprofits and 501c3s. He's going to negotiate your bills. He's going to save money for you. And if he saves money for you, he makes a little bit of money. Say he saves you $300 for a year. He's going to take a little bit of money out of that $300. He's not going to make you pay anything over. And if he doesn't save you any money, he doesn't get any money himself. So he's going to damn well work to try to save you money. Because if he doesn't save you any money, he doesn't get to feed his family. And let me tell you, trying to feed your family, that's kind of important. So they say. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about the hot dogs and stuff, I really believe that it's important. So, but this is Tommy Bopp. Once again, I recorded this interview about a year ago. It was July 27th last year. So a little of the references are a little outdated, but you know what? All the information is still great. This man is a wonderful, wonderful human being. This is Tommy Bopp from Utility Bill Pro. Enjoy the interview. Everybody, Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PACT channels. We are in the middle of all of our interviews today with our partners, great friends from all over the country, as a matter of fact, who do some wonderful things. And what we're doing is we're telling you their stories. We're going to introduce you to these wonderful people so you can know who they are, what they do, and you utilize them, and you can raise money for some great causes that need your help right now. My guest right now is a really good friend of mine. This gentleman did something that was amazing. He came all the way from his home out east to come and see us. And one of our last, about a year ago, Tommy, correct?
August, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, and we're going to claim he came just to do that. It had nothing to do with his wife having having relatives there in Denver. Nothing. He just came to see us. But yeah, so and it really took me off guard how tall this guy is. He doesn't seem that tall in that little box that you see in front of you. He's pretty tall. So, but I'm being joined today by Mr. Tommy Bopp. Tom, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Zach. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing very, very well. So, you switched from Balcom to Utility Bill Pro. Why the change?
Yes, I changed my name about actually less than a year ago. The reason is because I started doing all these. It's a byproduct of COVID. I started doing all these networking events and these Zoom events, and I had never really thought much about my company name before. I had named it the Balcom Group because like a group of consultants. So and there was a group of us at the time. So it seemed like a professional name, but it didn't convey anything, Zach. You hear the Balcom Group, you don't know, well, was that a group of lawyers or accountants? You don't know what it is. It really didn't matter at the time because I would always meet everybody in person and explain what it is. But now people are looking at my website and my LinkedIn profile, and my name needs to convey what I do. And so it was brainstorming between me and a couple other guys, and we decided Utility Bill Pro lets people know what I do, that I'm someone with expertise and experience when it comes to reviewing utility bills.
What you do and what you specialize is very simply put in your guys' tagline, and that's let your bills pay you. Why don't you explain to us exactly how the process goes?
Yeah, absolutely. What we do is get a copy of, let's say we sign up somebody, never have worked with this person before, and we need to get a copy of each one of their utility bills. Now, when I say utility bills, that means power, gas, water, telephone, any phone bill they have, could be local, long distance, cellular, and also the solid waste disposal. So I just need 1 month's worth of that bill. Then I also get a letter of authorization signed by the client. And with that information, I can access their history online. So I can go back and look at their billing history for 3 to 5 years, depending on where it is. And so what I'm trying to do is find errors in the billing. That's all I do, Zach. I don't have any product to sell. I'm not trying to help them use less energy. I'm just trying to help them pay as little as possible for the energy that they do use. So let's say I review all the bills and I find 2 or 3 errors on the billing. The next step, and this is very important, I don't go to the utility company to correct them. I come back to the client and I say, hey, look, here's what I found. Here's how much it will save you. Do you want me to correct these errors? I always do that because the customer needs to know the ball's in his court. He's making all the decisions. He's running the ship, not me. And so at that point, I may come back with these errors and he can tell me to go jump in the lake. He doesn't want to fix it. Now, I've been doing this for almost 30 years, Zach. No one has ever, not even once, told me, don't correct those errors. But it makes them feel comfortable at the beginning of the process because they don't know what it is I'm going to come back with. And they think, oh, maybe you're going to come back and tell me I need to turn my lights off when I leave the building, or I need better insulation, something like that. I don't do any of that. And you can't quantify that anyway. What I do when I correct these areas is quantifiable right down to the penny. And the reason our tagline is let your bills pay you, Zach, it's something people don't think about. They understand that if I come in and I correct this error, their bills are going to be lower going forward. But what most of them don't realize is that you also are entitled to a refund. You've been overpaying. And now I point this out to the utility and say, look, you guys made a mistake. You overcharged. You need to give them their money back that they overpaid. There's a statute of limitations with every state, and it varies from 3 to 5 years, but they will go back 3 to 5 years, refund that money with interest. So a relatively small error can produce a pretty large lump sum. So I always tell people, wouldn't it be nice to go to the mailbox and instead of there being a bill from the power company, there's a check from the power company made out to you for that money you've overpaid, and that's how your bills can pay you.
And one of the things that you do not do, you already said that you don't sell a product, which is great. You also don't make them take and cash a check that was written by a king in Zimbabwe that you're going to take. This is not a scam, right, Tommy? How much does it cost for them to talk to you?
Absolutely nothing. This is what we offer, Zach. It's a no risk. It's a free analysis of your utility bills with no risk and no obligation. I've already said there's no obligation because you can say no at any point. It's free to do the initial analysis. Then if we find something and you decide to proceed, our compensation all comes out of money that we have first recovered or saved for you. So no one ever pays us a penny out of their pocket. And there's also no risk because I may review all these bills. I may spend hours looking at everything and I may not find anything. So there is risk, but it's all for me. I may do all this work and not make any money.
And you're never going to find fewer mistakes than you're going to charge. That's
right. Yes, exactly. So I always just tell people it's free, risk-free, no obligation. It truly is one of those rare win-win situations, and the client has nothing to lose. So I want them to get to the point, and I've had this happen, where we're talking about it in our initial conversation, and the person will look at me and say, why wouldn't I do that? Bingo, you're there.
Can you give me some of the utilities that you guys specialize on? Sorry.
Yes. Part of it depends on where the client is located, because certain areas, there are certain utilities that make more errors than others in certain areas.
I think I have all of those.
Yes,
I think I have all of those.
You might very well. And something else, there are a lot of factors to consider. One is that solid waste disposal and telephone companies, telecommunication companies, they're not regulated by the Public Service Commission, like the power and the gas are in most states. Now, how much power the Public Service Commission wields in different states, that varies a lot. But in certain states where the PSC does not have a lot of power, that's where I really have to watch out for the power and the gas company because they're kind of operating unabated. They can get away with a lot of things if no one calls them on it. And if you don't have the PSC to go to, your only resort is a lawsuit. And most people, especially individual consumers, their bill is not big enough to warrant a lawsuit. So it depends on how the PSC operates. It also depends, Zach, on whether or not the state itself, the utilities are deregulated or not. Where I live in Alabama, it's a regulated state. That means there's no competition. If you're with this power company, you're with this gas company, that's who you're stuck with. You don't have a choice. Other states, you have opportunities. And so that competition helps keep them honest. So to answer your question, it varies from state to state. But there are some states where I really, I find more with solid waste disposal. Others, it's more telecom. Others, it's more power. It all just varies.
Okay, so what happens here in Colorado? We have Excel for electricity and Atmos for gas. That's it. Those are our options. Unless, of course, we go to propane or whatever. Is there a way, is there still an opportunity for people to save money there or get money back from their bills, from their past bills?
Yes, absolutely. The fact that it's not deregulated, that's no problem. All that means is we cannot threaten one of those companies with switching to another company. It means that we cannot go in and negotiate in the typical sense. But that's okay because primarily what I do anyway, Zach, is not those things. It's just looking for billing errors. There are all sorts of overcharges and there are acts of commission, but also omission, things that sometimes should be on the bill that are not there. So the fact that there's just one company to choose from, that's no problem. I can still go in and find out if that company made an error. And if there is a legitimate error, they will correct it and they will give you a refund, no matter whether the state's regulated or deregulated.
You know, when you said that, for some reason, the first thing that popped into my head was a call to Excel Energy. And you say, if you don't switch this, we're going to switch the companies. And you have like a mouse and a little running wheel connected to a generator, you know,
Yes.
because that would be who they would have to go through. So,
Exactly.
well, let's get this one out of the way. You already said the state that you're from, Alabama or Auburn?
Auburn, War Eagle, baby.
All right. So, yes.
I live in Auburn now, Zach.
Ah, do you? Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause you just recently moved.
We just moved here a couple of months ago. That's right.
So, how long have you been doing this?
I have been doing this for a little over 28 years.
28 years.
Yes.
Tommy, what makes you keep going? What makes this so? And we're going to get to talking about your true love on who you like to support the most. But what keeps you doing this? What keeps the fire lit for Tommy Bopp on helping people get through this difficult situation?
Yes, that's a great question, Zach, because I have stayed motivated through all these years doing this. My initial motivation was trying to feed my family, okay? Trying to make enough money to cover expenses. I remember when I started this company, and my wife was very nervous because she was pregnant with our first child. And she said, I don't want to be rich. I just want enough money to pay the bills. And I said, all right, I'll start working on that. So that was the first goal, just paying the bills. So, but as time has gone by, my kids have gotten older, they're gone now. What keeps me going is the fact that I can't stand to see waste. I can't stand to see companies overpaying. There are certain companies that I'll ride by. I know they're overpaying. I've been doing it long enough. I know there's certain mistakes that are on their bills because I've worked with similar companies in that area. And every time I do, there's this certain error. And it just bothers me to know that they're overpaying. I don't like to see that happen. Also, the fact that if I don't go in and correct it, probably no one else is. There still are not very many people who do what I do, especially where I live. And there's nobody, and I say this with a great deal of confidence, there's nobody that I know of who's been doing it as long as I have. So there are certain tricks, things I've learned along the way that people don't know. So it motivates me to go in there and to make sure people are not spending any more than they have to.
You and I connected, and we ended up meeting and we ended up talking, and there was an instant attraction there because you love working with small to medium nonprofits.
That's right.
What is it about the nonprofits that really draws them to you?
You know, I was starting to make this change, Zach, in 2019, right before COVID hit. I was talking to my wife and I told her, I said, you know, I have always pursued the bigger companies because they have the bigger bills. That's where I can make the most money to educate our kids, to take care of all these expenses. But as they were starting to leave, I said, nobody's looking after the smaller guy, the smaller companies, and certainly the nonprofits. Most people who do what I do, and there's nothing wrong with this, but they're just pursuing the big commercial and industrial accounts because they have bigger bills, so you can make more. Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. But I'm at the point where I wanted to give back some. And I had worked with a few churches and schools along the way, a couple of government entities, which are nonprofits. So I'd worked with some nonprofits along the way. So I started thinking, I want to give back more. So right before COVID, I was starting to make that transition. Then COVID hit, Zach. The clients I already had who were nonprofits were complaining to me. They said, we're being killed by COVID because our donations are way down, and our donors still want to give, but they can't. They don't have the money. So I started thinking, I can't replace all the money not coming in. But the one way that I can contribute, the one thing I know how to do is look at these utility bills, and I can slow down the money going out. Also, in a way, I can replace some of the money coming in through refunds that I get. It's very helpful to a nonprofit when you can not only lower their bills, but bring them a refund check. And I have several examples of nonprofits I worked with, and sometimes I didn't even know this going in, but I will get them a refund. And you didn't know this, but we needed this amount to add this room to shelter one more child who's been abused. So it's so heartwarming to know, Zach, that when you save money for a nonprofit, they immediately take that money and they use it to help somebody. A commercial client invests it back in the business, or it goes in someone's pocket. And hey, I love that. I'm all for that. That's capitalism. That's great. But it's a different feeling, though, just to see them directly help an individual.
We're looking right now at some of your testimonials, and I love seeing that this museum and motorsports park, and then here's one from Lamar at Outdoor Advertising, 4,000 a month savings. And these aren't nickel and dime savings that you find. These aren't nickel and dime mistakes that you find most of the time, are they? These are something that have been repeatedly happening over and over again.
Yes, they can be very significant. And just that middle one that you just mentioned, the Barber Motorsports and Museum, that is a nonprofit in Birmingham, Alabama. Huge, great attraction to people who are interested in motorcycles. Now, they have a racetrack there. They have all sorts of events. They're racing events, but it's also the world's largest motorcycle museum. So they actually called me. I had been talking to a sister company of theirs, but they called me because they had gotten a proposal, Zach. I'll tell you the story real quick because it conveys some important things. They had gotten a proposal from the power company, which is unusual to begin with, the power company even approaching them to put them on a different rate. And they said, if you'll sign this rate and we'll switch you over, you'll save $18,000 a year. So they thought, well, that sounds good. What's the catch? And they said, well, you're committed to this rate. You have to stay on this rate for 5 years. What they were really saying is you're going to be our customer for the next 5 years. You won't be able to go anywhere else. And at the time, Alabama was very seriously considering deregulating. So the power company was afraid they might lose this. This was a prize customer and they might lose them. So they came in and they made them this offer. Well, they were afraid to sign anything for 5 years without a third party opinion. So they had me come look at it. I said, all right, let me crunch the numbers. So I said, first of all, if you do switch from rate A to rate B, they're right. You'll save $18,000. That's exactly right. No doubt about it. Sounds good. What they are not mentioning, though, is there's another rate, which I call rate C, that if you switch to that rate, you'll save $55,000 a year. And if you get on that rate, then you're eligible for a rider, which I call rate D, and that'll save you another $5,000. So the moral of this story is you really need an experienced, expert consultant to look at any document you might sign with the utility company, because they were going to sign this and they would have saved $18,000 a year. They would have thought the power company was heroes. It had been great. I got them to sign a different contract and they saved $60,000 a year. And they've been saving that, Zach, for over 10 years. No.
When things like that happen, and Tommy, I'm not approaching you with this question with the intention on, hey, throw some dirt on some of these guys, but they have trained individuals who they tell the truth, as this electric company did, but they don't tell all of it, do they? They leave out the little points that, yeah, well, you're going to save all this money, woohoo, but you could save more if you do this.
Right.
They leave that part out. They're trained to do that because they're trying to sell you, but not always with your best intentions in mind, right?
You don't want to cast aspersions with too wide of a net, right? So it depends on which company, and honestly depends on which individual. Sometimes maybe in this case it depended on this guy's supervisor, I don't know, but they did not tell the whole story in this case. Now I'm sure sometimes they do, but the point is, how are you supposed to know if they're the expert and you're not the expert? Well, you need to call in a third party objective expert, somebody else to look at it who has your best interests at heart, to confirm it, or maybe not to confirm it, to see. It's just hard to know. We all know there are unscrupulous people out there. I have seen companies, especially the ones that I mentioned that are not regulated by the PSC, like solid waste companies, telephone companies. I have seen them sometimes intentionally overcharge and put in some bogus charges and put in some bogus rate increases on regular intervals. And again, there are honest people in all these industries, but you just have to, you've got to watch out for yourself. And so I'm here to offer that service. And sometimes that, and this is rare, but sometimes we don't find anything, and people will still thank me because they'll say, at least now I know.
Yeah.
I always wondered if I was overpaying, and I am paying more than I want to, but at least I know I'm paying the lowest I can pay.
And again, those people, when you found nothing, how much did they pay?
They didn't pay a dime, nothing, but they got some peace of mind out of it.
Once again, Tommy is a verified partner. He's one of our brothers. He's been with us for a little over a year now, and we love having him. We love him as a great friend, and definitely love him as a partner. You are in the Alabama area, but where can you work?
Actually, I work, Zach, all over the country. My most recent clients have been in Florida and the state of Washington. So that's pretty much one corner to the other.
Yeah, that really truly is, right?
Yes.
Tip to tip. So
I can work
as a in Florida.
I'm trying to work. It's kind of a goal of mine to have at least one client in every state. I just think it would be fun to be able to say that. So I've worked in a lot of different states, Zach. It doesn't matter where people are located. In fact, I'm about to have my first clients in Canada and in Puerto Rico. And it seems like the only qualification is they either have to speak English, or, as in the case of Puerto Rico, I need to have a contact who's bilingual. So I always thought language was the barrier, but in Puerto Rico, I don't think it will be. But to answer your question, where the people who might be hearing this are concerned, I can work in any of the 50 states.
As long as you're not in Canada where they only speak French.
I'm trying to work in the English part of Canada, right? The English speaking part.
So, all right. Tommy, how did people get a hold of you, my friend?
Yes, there are a couple of different ways. Probably the easiest way, Zach, is to go to my LinkedIn profile, which, hey, one of the advantages, Zach, of having an unusual last name, if you type in Tommy Bopp, you're going to find me. There are not too many of us floating around out there. So
there was that one, but he was a cartoon character and he doesn't quite look like you. So, but
yes. So there now I will tell you this, my mom's name was Betty Bopp, and boy, did she take a lot of grief because of Betty Boop.
Wow.
Being out there.
Your dad had to have thought that was hilarious when they first started dating.
Oh, yes. Well, I told my mom, I said, I know you had to really love my dad if you were willing to take on that name, your first name. People can reach me on LinkedIn. They can type in my name. They can type in Utility Bill Pro. People can send me an email at just tfbopp@gmail.com. But LinkedIn, I think, is the easiest.
Yep. And once again, that's utilitybillpro.com is the website. You can also get a hold of him at 334-354-2563. Once again, that's area code 334-2563. So, Tommy, thank you very much for joining us for this interview. We greatly appreciate it. You keep up the great work. And how's the summer going there for you?
Everything's going fine, except it is extremely hot. It feels like it's always hot and humid in Alabama in the summer. It seems to have come a little early this year, and maybe be a little bit hotter. But work is going great. COVID has the silver lining. I've met a lot of people like you who I would not have met otherwise because of Zoom and networking, and that's why I've been expanding and working with people all over the country, because I no longer have to go visit them in person. We can do it like this.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, when we first met Tommy and he came to Families, Cubs, and Causes, he comes out there, we're all dying, you know, we're sitting there sweating, just dying. It was hot. Tommy comes walking in, he's like shivering, you know, he's like, it's not hot here. What are you guys talking about? You know, so yeah, we were like going, no, you're just not human. I don't know what it is with you guys down in lower elevations, but you know, I don't see how you guys can do that. My fiance just was in New Mexico over the weekend, and it was like 103 there. And I told her, when you come back, do not bring that with you.
No.
Don't do it. I don't want it here. So, but all right. Once again, Tommy, I thank you so very much for joining us. As always, we love having you in the Community Pay It Forward program. You can always find Tommy under Bill Mitigation and a couple other places on our Verified Partners page. So please make sure that you look them up. Take a look at everything you got to do. What's it hurt, folks? You know what? We're coming into a time where we know the recession is going to be hitting some businesses really, really hard. This is the time to call somebody. Make sure you're not overpaying, because overpaying is something nobody can afford to do now. So please call Tommy. Tommy, one more time, how do they get a hold of you?
They can reach me on my LinkedIn page. Look up Tommy Bopp or Utility Bill Pro. My email is tfbopp@gmail.com, and my phone, 334-354-2563.
So much easier you saying it than me trying to read it and speak it at the same time. So
right.
Well, once again, this has been a PACT short. We've been here with Tommy Bopp of Utility Bill Pro, formerly the Balcom Group. But we're going to be bringing you many, many more of our partners. Tommy is a gold partner, so he's going to be with us for quite a while. Be looking for this to be running about twice a week. If you have any questions, please make sure you give him a call. You have nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose. They find nothing. Tommy, is it easy for you to make up something to where people have to pay?
It's impossible. They will see either the refund check itself or the savings on the bill. And if they have any questions, I can show them how the savings are calculated. The one thing I always tell people is that there's no guesswork when it comes to the savings. It is quantifiable right down to the penny, and I can show them that.
There you go. It's not going to scam you, not going to cost you anything if they find nothing. And if they do find something, you still get money back. All you got to do is give them a call. Once again, you can find out more about them. Give them a call, 334-354-2563. Tommy Bopp with Utility Bill Pro. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Zach. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a great day. And what does she do? She brings that weather back with her, because now we've had like 2.5 weeks full of upper 90s. Have you ever wanted to hide? You want to help, but you have to take care of your family first. Maybe this next paycheck I can support causes I love. Tell me, how does this sound? You shop, click a picture of a receipt, and pick someone you support while shopping for your family. Well, check out communitypayitforward.us. Hover your mouse here. Click on the Verified Given Partner button and shop with any partner that will satisfy your needs. Grab the receipt because every time you shop, a Community Pay It Forward mission partner receives anywhere from 80 to 90% of a referral. You can find the mission partners by going right here. Each mission has a QR code so you can upload your receipt. And that's it. Shop, click, and pick. Join the program. You shop with small businesses and support great people. Great people who need a little help, or help to support the great people doing great things. Because with Community Pay It Forward, you don't have to hide anymore. Community Pay It Forward knows every small business is essential. We're just about done for the day, and I want to thank you guys very much. I want to thank, again, Tommy, for sitting with me last year. Where are you this year? Just saying. And, of course, Jeremy York from Things Network, which simulcasts our Monday show, Footprints Forward. Speaking of Footprints Forward, I'm hoping that you guys can join us this coming up Monday. Great friend to the show. You guys, anybody who's watched this show at all knows my love and care for this man. Brian Gibson is going to be the guest. Okay, so Brian Gibson will be there. Once again, it's 11 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock here Mountain, 8 o'clock Pacific, but it's talking about suicide and mental health issues. Very, very important, folks, because we're losing way too many people. So, and you will be able to watch last week's show as soon as this ends. It will show up wherever you're watching. It'll show up on that as soon as we are done. Matter of fact, I'm kind of setting it up right now because I forgot to set it up earlier. So I'm a smart guy sometimes, let me tell you. But anyway, I also want to thank and make sure that you guys all remember that Nature Select gave us some really good ideas about our pets. You know, it is not easy for our animals during the 4th of July. A lot of scary stuff, especially if they're young. They've never dealt with anything like this. If your animal is acting a little weird, well, there's a reason for it. And you can find out more by going to communitypayitforward.us/Nature's Select Northern Colorado. Anytime you shop with Nature's Select Northern Colorado, turn in your receipt and they will donate to the cause of your choice, like Barry the Bear just told you about. I would also like to remind you that tomorrow at Bandimere Speedway, you can go and see my buddy, my brother, my hero, John Wayne Vogels and his family, who will be there, who will have a booth there at Bandimere, 3051 South Rooney Road in Morrison, Colorado, and watch some jet fuel racing. I don't know much about racing, but I hear jet fuel and I think of my teenage days and drinking. Okay, yeah, I do. But I also think about a lot of fire, a lot of fast, and a lot of quick. So then on Wednesday, while you're recouping, while you're trying to clear out all the cobwebs out of your ears, Hit Breeze Through Car Wash, 1213 Ken Pratt Boulevard in Longmont. 1213 Ken Pratt Boulevard in Longmont. This coming up Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ask any of the volunteers how it works, and every car wash, John and Mortared Angels will get a portion of your purchase of your car wash. Once again, you can support Martyred Angels through the Community Pay It Forward partners like this. Truly a hero, truly one of the best causes from one of the worst situations you can think of. So go and support John, support his family, meet a lot of them. Oh, wow, Carl, that's pretty cool. Bill of Rights Network on Facebook and Paranormal Nation Radio. I want to thank Carl for joining us. He was joining us through Jeremy. Jeremy added a couple of his networks on here. So, Carl, it was great to meet you. I hope that you can join us every Wednesday night here on the pACT channel and see what else we're talking about. All right, folks, that's it for me for this week on the pACT channel. My name is Zach Clayton. I am the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. Please remember to take care of somebody, because you know what, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one has to go it alone when we all come together. Please love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Once again, Monday, 9 a.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Eastern, we will have Brian Gibson from Project Die Hard on Footprints Forward, talking about suicide and ways that we can help each other. So thank you very much. If you need to get a hold of me, 970-909-0751, 970-909-0751. Please make sure you go and check out Things Network all over all of your social medias. You'll find them. It's a good time. You'll have a lot of fun with it. Have a great day. We'll see you all later. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, you show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.